Before we get into today's episode, we have some exciting news for you guys. On June 13th through the 15th, 2019, the Liberland in Africa Summit will be taking place in beautiful Uganda. The venue hosting the event is the Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa, and we are going to put a link to more information in the show notes. Go ahead and check that out. And if you can make it, please attend because this is going to be a very exciting event, and I know we are all really looking forward to it.
Hello, and welcome to episode 31 of the Liberland Show. I am your host, Joey Langenbrunner. Today, we are joined by Adam J. Carswell. Adam is the host of the Liberland Show. Thank you for being on the show today. Do you have any opening remarks for our listeners?
Wow, I feel like I'm talking to myself right now, Joey. It was a great introduction, and thank you for hosting me on I guess what we could say is my show, at least for the time being. Really grateful to be in the other side of the chair. And as I just noticed, I said for the time being. I mean, I have every intention of hosting this show until the day I die. But hey, what's up, Joey?
So, Adam, how did you begin your journey as a Liberlandian?
It first began when I trace it back. I was recently on the Humans of Bitcoin podcast hosted by Matt Aaron. Actually, I want to give a quick plug. Go ahead, go over to bitcoin.com or just Google bitcoin.com's podcast or Humans of Bitcoin. I think I was still probably the most recent episode on there. My journey with Liberland really began with my dive into cryptocurrency, which is probably how a lot of Liberlandians sort of gravitate towards the idea. I would say, our cryptocurrency, our country currency is based on the blockchain. It is a cryptocurrency, the Liberland Merit. Anyways, sorry, let me answer the question. So I'm going down this Bitcoin rabbit hole, following all these guys that I never heard of before on YouTube. And one of the 3 or 4 channels that I really started following to get my information was the Dollar Vigilante, however you want to pronounce it, hosted by Jeff Berwick. And I know you're familiar with Jeff. You've probably shaken his hand or talked to him a few times. He's been on the show just today, actually. So I should say, speaking of other podcasts, I have my own show too, Dream Chasers, and Jeff was just on Dream Chasers as well. So guys, go ahead and check that one out too. I start following Jeff on YouTube for cryptocurrency updates and information. To be honest, when I first started following him, I never told him this actually, but I almost unfollowed him at first because I would say I was a little bit more, in my opinion, narrow-minded with my views of the world and what I thought countries should be, what I thought governments should be. And he was very opinionated about what he thinks the world should be. So I almost unsubscribed from him, but then I started to really come around and be like, wow, I actually like a lot of these things that this guy has to say besides talking about cryptocurrency. And one of the things that he was talking about on his show was Liberland. And so I want to say probably at least 2 years ago, I first heard about Liberland, got on the mailing list, would get updates probably quarterly from the team. And then fast forward to last summer/fall. Yeah, it was fall. Liberland came to Washington, D.C., where I was living at the time. And they sent out a blast email saying, hey, if you want to RSVP, just respond to this email, I think, or something, if you want to come network with fellow Liberlandians. And so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, like I RSVP'd, cool, got on the list. I thought I was going to have to pay for something. Like, no, awesome. And then I show up at the restaurant where the networking is taking place. And I say to the host, I'm here for the Liberland meetup, and I'm expecting to walk into a room of 50 to 100 people, all just kind of fans or talking about Liberland. And he's like, yeah, your table's right here. And I'm like, oh my goodness, wait, what? Like there's a table set for 20 people. Now I'm all of a sudden sitting down and realizing whoa, I am having dinner with Fit Yedlichka. I'm having dinner with Tom Walls, Bogey Wozniak, Dave Molyneux, Tom Walls. I can't remember if I said Tom's name already, but it just blew my mind. I'm like, I'm sitting down having dinner with the leaders of this country that I have really been looking up to for a while. This is amazing. Joey, you were there too, by the way. I should say that's where we first met. And I have a vlog. Here's another plug for you guys. I have a vlog as well called Untitled. Go ahead, again, go on Google, YouTube, type in Adam Carswell, Adam J. Carswell, Untitled. You can check out all my episodes on my vlog there. And go ahead and take a look back. I want to say it's probably around episode 60 or something. I interviewed Jedlička. And I took that video and that interview that I did and sent it over to Dave Molyneux, who then sent it to Gautier Lamoth. We were like, okay, so Adam, we can start working you into what we're doing at Liberland. Just tell us what you want to do. And I was like, well, do you guys have a podcast? And I think Gautier said, yeah, we started one, but no one's really picked up on it. No one's really followed through with it. He's like, would you be interested in hosting it? I'm like, absolutely, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. Let's call it the Liberland Show and let's do it. And so Gautier was the first interview on the Liberland Show. And really, since then, I really haven't looked back. I've enjoyed it so much, and I'm enjoying sharing about it here right now with you. And I'm getting to a point where I feel like I'm talking too much. So I'm going to flip it back to you, Joey. But that is how I began my journey as a Liberlandian.
No, that's fantastic. And honestly, ever since you started doing this show, I've been watching every single episode. Every single time, you put something out, you send a word out, to our whole team. But really, like, the first thing I'll get is YouTube, a notification. And, bam, right there, I'm listening to, hearing the national anthem, feeling pumped up, hear your voice, because you got, Adam, like, you got the radio voice, not only is your content fantastic, you get on the show is fantastic, but damn, boy, you got that voice, so all this talent comes together. It's fantastic. So no, just huge fan, man. And really getting the word out there to people is good. Even when you interviewed Roger Veer and he didn't know about the show, hey, we need to do, we need to do a little bit, better job, like, promoting it and whatnot, because we got great content. That's what we're going to keep on doing and keep on getting these shows out. So this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right. Roger wasn't even aware. And again, having him on the show was huge for us, I believe. And it also created, that's how I ultimately ended up getting on Bitcoin.com's podcast. So I'm really grateful for just the doors that hosting the show is opening for me in my personal life as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you remember how many listens you got on that particular one?
Not sure off the top of my head. The best way to count listens, I've noticed, we really do generate most of our traffic through YouTube. We get a significant amount of plays on Facebook, and then also on, we're on every major platform that exists, as far as I'm aware of, for podcasting. So that's one thing that I personally, I'll just let you know right now, I got to take a harder look at, or if someone out there who has the time to do it can kind of cultivate and see how many listens per episode we're getting. I'm not sure, but we're definitely if I had to guess, we've got to be somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 plays per episode if you date back to the beginning.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I would only assume that your views, would be going up and up and up, and then you'll break a point where it's just going to go exponentially up, and then bam, you're gonna be the biggest thing in Liberland. Right?
We're shooting for 1 billion, man. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it. So cool. So can you tell me a little bit more about your professional background?
Yeah, I'll give a description of what I would consider my previous professional background, and then what I'm doing now. So I thought that I was going, well, I didn't think, I wanted to be a college basketball coach. And so that was my main focus, probably from, I would say, halfway through college / university through the age 23, 24. I'm 28 now. So just to put it in perspective, I just realized I was playing college basketball. I was running track as well, but I just had a huge passion for coaching. I loved working with guys that are hungry to win and just winning, like focusing on winning and bringing people along for that winning experience. It's very unique. Now, losing is also like simply a part of the game, and I've definitely lost plenty of times in my life too, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm someone who's just like hungry for winning all the time, but it's a great feeling. And when I can do it with something that I love doing, ultimately what basketball did for me is it helped me realize I think I just enjoy coaching in general, leadership in general. It's just I love it. I love it, and I think I'm good at it. And if I could ever get some, some criticism,
are.
Thank you.
Hey, I know we talked about this before. I'll definitely love to see you as the head coach for on the Liberland national basketball team, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely something I feel like I've got my foot in the door on, or got a hold on once we're ready for it. Totally ready to coach the national team. To be honest, even more than play for the national team, I'd rather coach it. And I do, as I mentioned, I do have a pretty good track record, I would say, as a coach. When I lived in Belize, again, just a crazy series of events took place And next thing you know, I became the head coach of Galen University, where I was studying at and playing for the team my first season there.
Nice.
I communicated to the staff, like, this is why I'm here. This is what I want to do. Again, just all these pieces just started falling into place. And next thing you know, I get a phone call like, hey, Adam, would you like to be the head coach of Galen University? I'm like, yes, absolutely, 100%. So that's when I was 23. So I like to say, like, I kind of achieved my life goal when I was 23. What happened after that was we went on to win the national championship. And I thought I was going to be in Belize for much longer, but good old student debt from the North American universities kind of had a hold on me. And I was a little bit homesick too, I would say. So I was kind of like, because the money I was making in Belize was good if I had like no debt, right? Like I could just live a comfortable life and coach basketball, but had to get back to the US. And I'm like, you know what? Basketball helped me see the world, helped me learn a lot of things about myself, but I'm ready to go to good old corporate America, get a job, work my way up the ladder. Looking back on it now, I'm surprised that based on like how I kind of view the world now, I'm surprised that I once upon a time thought that was like what I wanted to do. But I did it anyway, and I worked for Sherwin-Williams, the paint company in Washington, D.C., and did really well with them. I was there for a couple of years, recruited during my time there like 15 or more employees into the company. Like I actually was loving it. I told people, like, if you slit my wrists, paint would probably come out because I was so passionate for Sherwin-Williams. But I just had a moment. I just had a day where I was like, man, I'm looking at all these people that I really look up to within the company, and yeah, they're happy, they're successful, they're making good money, but like nothing personal. Most of them are definitely not like millionaires or billionaires, and not to even make it sound like that's my main focus, but I definitely just want to maximize myself as much as possible with my entire life. And that's a level of life that, you know, I think deserves to be maximized for anyone who can realize it. So I was like, man, I gotta get into a world where I eat what I kill, basically. And so I became a residential realtor to start, and that's how I got into real estate. And I was a realtor with RE/MAX for 2 years, and then I relocated to San Francisco right actually after I met everyone from Liberland, so last fall. And during my relocation, I was like, all right, done with residential, I'm going full-time in commercial. That's a whole nother story, but basically, I would say cryptocurrency ultimately led me to my relationships in commercial real estate as well, and really just began cultivating 2 relationships with the guys that I work with daily now. And so now I'm in the commercial investing space. I'm a digital nomad. I don't have to be in any particular city to do business because we look at deals with both companies all across the US, and our main focus is to provide, you know, lucrative returns for our investors and for our network. So a lot of the time I'm either on the phone or working on a project for either of the 2 firms on the internet. Yeah, that's my it's my current professional status. It's pretty cool. So we're on the phone right now from Newfoundland, Canada. As I mentioned, I was in San Francisco for the past 6 months, but I just moved out here now. Again, enjoying the quote unquote work from home life.
Hey man, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm halfway there with my job, but I had exactly the same epiphany. You know, I'm in corporate America. You know, did that for a year or so, and I was like, I'm done. You know, maybe because I didn't get that 50% raise, and I was just like, out. You know, this is dumb. Out.
Dude, I feel you, man. I think a lot of our listeners and a lot of people associated with Liberland can definitely relate to that vision and that life story. And I must say, on my end, it's not glorious. You know, I'm definitely not making those millions or billions that I'm talking about. Not yet, at least. But I'm doing what I want, really, and it's just an amazing blessing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. And, you know, the whole idea of being a digital nomad is just something really big in my life right now. Probably when it comes to actually settling in Liberland, you know, depending on how much, you know, jobs and work is available in the country, then probably a significant amount of the population will probably just be digital nomads, you know, just opening up their own, you know, little business or their internet business or whatever, you know, in Liberland, and just kind of doing business there in a unregulated way and stuff like that. You know, so definitely when it comes to actually settling in Liberland, I'm gonna be right next to you. You know, live in you know, of the digital nomad life.
Yeah, we'll both be sitting on our floating homes on the Danube, sipping on something tasty.
Cool. So, what advice do you have for aspiring and ambitious Liberlandians?
Biggest piece of advice I would say is speak up. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to get involved with Liberland, we don't really know where you are, who you are. And there's a lot of tasks that we have that we need to accomplish that we don't quite have the capacity to do right now. And now this is actually where it gets tricky, because I say speak up and, raise your hand. But a lot of the time, someone like me or especially Joey, because Joey's an amazing connector, they still need to know what your passion is. Like, raise your hand and say, hey, I want to work with Liberland. I'm good at this. Don't just be like, hey, I want to work with Liberland and I want a passport and I want a visa or whatever, because that's definitely something that's just not going to happen right now for anyone who just raises their hand. Like, you got to put the work in, just like anything else in life. So to summarize it, my biggest piece of advice is raise your hand, but know what you're good at. Let us know what you're good at. And just let us know that you're open, that you're willing to give your time, that you're willing to serve, because it's very much a volunteer approach right now in building this country. We're building a country from scratch. So it's not like we have just money to throw around to anyone. But if you can show that you're willing to serve, I will say, you do get compensated in merits if you're doing the right thing. So yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, no, I say that to people all the time, because I meet so many people, who say, hey, I want to get involved with Liberland. Hey, what can I do? I'm like, well, what can you do?
Right.
So it's
and there's so much.
And if they give me a good idea, a good pitch.
Sorry. I'm just thinking, because there's really so much opportunity within Liberland that people don't realize, because they think it's, I don't even know what the right word is, but you can use my story as an example. I thought I was nowhere near the level or going to have the ability to rub shoulders with Vitya Lichka. In the first Liberland event I go to, I talk to him and I have an interview with him for my media channel, for my vlog, as I mentioned. So just think of something that maybe doesn't exist yet for Liberland. Joey, I know we talked about this. I don't think there's an official musical band of Liberland or anything. So if you want to be the first band of Liberland, or if you want to be the first whatever, you probably can. Just let us know. Let's talk.
Hey, if anyone wants to make a Liberland band, actually email me at ohio@liberland.org.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Seriously, I want to sing. Cool, Adam. So I think we're cutting close here, but in general, where do you see Liberland in 3 to 5 years?
I really liked, I think it was Stephen Wood's answer to this question. Guys, again, go ahead, check out, I hope everyone's taking notes right now. Go check out Stephen Wood's interview for the Liberland Show too, and Joey's, but Stephen's was really, really good. And I liked his answer to this question.
Yeah, he's awesome.
You guys are both from Cincinnati too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something's in the water there, but Stephen
really is.
Stephen caught me off guard when I asked him this question, because he's like, you know what? I really hate this question. He's like, I don't hate you at all. But he's like, I hate this question. And the reason why he said he hated this question, I thought it was interesting. He's like, because you don't even know what's going to happen in your life tomorrow or 30 seconds from now. So it's always kind of hard to give a good answer for a question like this, but I can definitely elaborate still. And I think that within the next 3 to 5 years, this is going to sound cliche, but there's no limit to where Liberland could be. I mean, within a year from now, we could be breaking ground, building the first buildings. With 10 years from now or 40 years from now, whatever, that could also be when physical structures start populating the land. But because of the internet, because of the way things grow exponentially when they're in a technological environment, I mean, that's what Liberland is. It is
Actually, Adam, I'm going to totally cut you off.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we need to change this question to, where do you see yourself in Liberland in 3 to 5 years?
Ooh, yeah, it makes it more personal, right?
Kind of that expression, not what you would do for your country, but what would you do
in your country do for you? Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
But where do you see yourself in Liberland in 3 to 5 years? Not what Liberland is, but you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because this is
okay. Yeah, I like this one more, I think. But I will say the first question, there's literally no telling and no limit to where things could be, especially just observing how much the country has grown since I started working with Liberland less than a year ago. It's remarkable. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, everyone just keep listening to the show, find ways to subscribe to updates. Yeah, for me, 3 to 5 years, dude, I would love to be sitting in an actual I'm a digital nomad or whatever, but I'd love to be sitting in a studio in downtown Liberland, recording this show, either in this format or get the cameras rolling. I'm not shy in front of a camera either. You know that, Joey. So I think that's what I would like to see is a studio created somewhere, preferably in Liberland, for the Liberland Show, where I can do my thing there in the land.
Dude, let's do it.
Yeah.
Man. Well, hey, Adam, this has been absolutely fantastic. Changing it up here for all of our listeners here today. Hey, great having you, Adam. I know you're gonna be on the next show, the next show, the next show, next show. And this is a great opportunity for me. So thank you for giving me the host.
Yeah, man.
That'll do.
I mean, guys, Joey's. If I do have a best friend within the Liberland community right now, it's like no question. Like Joey's my guy. So yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll hear. There is no maybe. You're definitely going to hear his vocal cords coming across the airwaves here in the future. Can't say exactly when, but get used to the big JL because he's here to stay.
All right. Well, thanks, Adam. Thanks, guys, so much. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Definitely subscribe on our YouTube and basically every other platform. And that'll do it.
Thank you. Guys, if you enjoy listening to the Liberland Show, be sure to check out my own personal podcast called Dream Chasers. On Dream Chasers, we interview individuals with supernatural amounts of potential based on early success in their careers. Go ahead and do a web search on it. Again, my name is Adam Carswell, Adam J. Carswell. Go ahead, type in Dream Chasers, and it should pop up for you to listen there on any platform, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, etc. Thanks for tuning in to the Liberland Show, and we will catch you in the next episode. Thanks.